The Orange Cup Regatta is a well-respected venue for boat racing and has a tremendous following. Well, I'm Gene Engle, and I was born and raised here in Lakeland in November the 2nd, 1939, and I have been very, very involved in the growth of the city of Lakeland, and of course a real strong believer in the Orange Cup Regatta. I grew up on Lake Hollingsworth and did a lot of water skiing, watched the boat races every year. The lake has always been kind of special to us. We live very, very close to the lake, both my wife Pat and I, and the lake has become a major fixture in our community for recreational purposes. So when we first grew up, there was orange groves basically all the way around the lake. Very few houses, actually some swim pavilions were here. So it's changed. It's no longer out in the country. It's part of downtown Lakeland. Well, the Orange Cup Regatta has now become a legacy in all over the United States. It's one of the oldest venues of boat racing. My dad started it back in 1934, and he was a chair of it for many, many years in all my young years of growing up. Well, I can tell you that he was one of the finest people I've ever known. I miss him terribly. He was a promoter. He left Michigan back when 1923, he went to California and went to work for one of the major movie studios, and then came to Lakeland to visit his mother, who came here to watch the Detroit Tiger Spring Train. And so that's how I got here. I guess my earliest memory was probably when I was probably 3 or 4 years old. My job was to pick up the shotgun shells, because back then, where we use a clock today in flags, back then we had a little cannon, or they did, that they would fire the 5-minute gun and they would fire the 1-minute gun, and my job was to pick up the shotgun shells. So I would say that it was probably around 3 or 4. And then all those years that I wasn't directly involved with the Orange Cup Regatta, I was standing right there in the pits with all the racers. Well, Pat Engle is my wife of 61 years. We started dating in high school many, many years ago. She is the backbone of everything I do.
Very interesting. Never a dull moment. A lot of fun, a lot of challenges.
I have a lot of times been accused of volunteering for a lot of things for her to do all the work.
There's two events, two major sporting activities that have taken place longer than any other here in Polk. Detroit Tigers spring training, the longest relationship between a major league team and a spring training destination, and then the Orange Cup Regatta. Now, what was interesting about the Orange Cup, of course, they're two different sports, but they accomplish the same thing, and that's making money for the businesses and citizens of Polk County. That's the beauty of it.
A lot of people know exactly where Lakeland, Florida is because of the Orange Cup Regatta.
Well, this is our 75th anniversary, the 75th running. Best of our knowledge, this is the second oldest athletic event in Polk County, only to the Detroit Tigers spring training.
The benefits to the community from the regatta really start with Gene Engle's vision of how sporting events should be run. And that is all based on relationships. Now, here's a guy that's a master of relationships. He has tremendous relationships that go long and deep with the APBA, the American Powerboat Association, but also the community. Now, those benefits, what are they? They put heads in beds, so the accommodations benefit. The restaurants are full. The attractions, not necessarily full, but they do contribute, or the event does contribute to their overall prosperity. And that experience then goes out long term. People are saying, wow, you want to come down, usually in the spring, now we've held it in the fall as well, and you want to have a good time on vacation while you're participating in your passion, boat racing on the water. Hey, that's an investment in the future.
Well, Lake Hollingsworth is an interesting venue. It holds more world records than anywhere in the whole world. Why that is, I don't know, other than the design of the race course and the quality of the people that are involved in it. In order to win the Orange Cup trophy, obviously you need to break the world's record. If we do not have anyone breaking the world's record, then what we do is whoever comes the closest to breaking a world's record wins the Orange Cup. In order to have a record broken, you have to have a record course. And our course is a surveyed course. It has to be surveyed and approved by the American Powerboat Association. And then when a record is broken, we have to go the following day, we have to have it resurveyed to make sure that the buoys have not been moved. And then when the race is over, that engine in that particular boat has to be broken down with inspectors to make sure that it qualified with all the specifications that are required.
Capsule tests emulate flipping the boat over and landing upside down and have to extricate yourself from the boat. We set a world record in 2002, I think up in Portsmouth, Virginia. And I went out the next heat and we were shattering the record, and I flipped the boat. And I was underwater for almost 4 minutes. And I had a breathing system, a scuba system, but I did not have a mask. And once I got knocked out, I was only upside down and floating. I was only 3 feet underwater, but I was underwater, and spent 6 days in ICU. So I'm really a big believer in the capsules. When you first flip over into the water, there's small air bubbles all over everywhere, and you can't really see anything. So the best thing is just to count to 10. You start off by releasing the lid, then you go ahead and pull off the steering wheel, and then release your belts, and then you get yourself out. Panic sets in when the water starts coming in. As long as the water's not coming in, you're in good shape.
What do you want first move?
Canopy.
Second?
Steering wheel.
Third?
Belts. Get the f down.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go.
Well, safety has changed a lot because of the different classes of boats that we're running. When my dad first started the Orange Cup Regatta, they would race the outboards, which were pretty much stock outboards, Mercury engines and so forth. And then on the Sunday, they would race the inboards. And in the inboards back then, everything was an open cockpit. And then as time progressed, all the boats basically were open cockpits. Today, all but 2 classes that we run are all in cockpits, enclosed cockpits, and with a 5-point harness, with their own oxygen, their own radio to the shore. A lot of them now have doors on the bottom of the boat so that if they're upside down, we can open that door and pull them out through the bottom of the boat. So safety is a very, very important thing for us. We have divers on the lake with EMS certifications. We have a safety boat, and of course we have to have an ambulance on site all the time. So we're very proud of our safety record.
Down early. It was kind of an early birthday and just a thanks for all you do. We got my dad this chair. Anybody who's been down here at the races will see that he never sits down. He's always moving around. Wish he'd sit down a little bit more. Probably needs a little rest a little more this year, so we thought get him a nice chair, easy to get in and out of, with his title on the back, race director. Hopefully we'll get him to sit down and take a little more easy this time. And then the bar.
In fact, I may take this home.
Well, it is yours.
Oh, no.
It is yours.
Hey, that's perfect. Yeah, I can get up out of this.
Welcome everyone to day 1 of the Orange Cup Regatta. All forecasts show ideal weather for breaking a world record today. These outboards are the only heat that will be using a modified Le Mans start. Jersey Skiffs.
A Jersey Skiff is an interesting boat that was basically a rowboat used back in many years ago during the time of Prohibition. And it was used to transport adult beverages, and the federal government found out a way to catch up with them, so they put a V8 engine in them, and they're an interesting class.
My dad and our family did marathon water ski races, and you'd have an observer just like water skiing, but we would go like 50, 35, 50, 75 miles at a time. It was a lot of fun. So he always said it would be fun to not have the water skier behind you, like have two people in the boat. And so one day when we were riding in the Skiff, I realized, I finally lived his dream, is to race a boat without a water skier behind you. We hold hands, say a little prayer, ask for safety for not only us, but and not only the Skiff class, but for all the boats on the course. So yeah, that's our little. And once in a while, if I remember, I always hit the bottom of the boat. I don't know why. Make sure it's solid. I don't know. Little goofy things like that. Yeah. So a lot of it is, I always say like 80% of the race happens before you get to turn one. So getting the right lane before the start, and then hitting the start, the clock, we call it hitting the clock. You don't want to be over at the start, but you don't want to be late. And because if you're late, all the other boats are in turn one when you get there. So you want to get to turn one before everybody else does.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we have a clean start. The Jersey Skiffs are off. Tom Pacarduni starts in third, but takes the ideal lane on the inside. And the Rolling Thunder inches up to take an early lead. He is flying.
Michelle Morgan's, I think she's on her 4th year riding. The riding mechanic, a lot of people don't realize how important they are, but they're a key to the whole thing. It's good to have somebody you can rely on, you know what they're doing, and they kind of have an idea what you're trying to
do. Tom and Michelle are growing their lead. Been racing for 30 years and he is showing no mercy. Here we are in the final lap, and Rolling Thunder is barreling towards this win. Rolling Thunder has won yet another race here on Lake Hollingsworth.
Yep, I'm a middle school technology teacher. This is my 18th season, so I started when I was 14 and been racing ever since. Yeah, this year we've had probably our best year in out of the 17. We ran 5 classes and won a national high point title in 4 of them. We won 2 Western divisionals, 2 Eastern divisionals, 2 summer national championships, and should be getting inducted into the Hall of Champions coming in January for the 2nd time.
Up next is the 2.5 liter stocks.
Our goal was just to go out, snag lane 1, hit the start right at 0, and see how close we could get to a record. And you know, all the work ahead of time makes it that when you sit down and strap in, you can relax and just focus on what you have to do, which is, you know, try and hit the start right at 0 in a good lane.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're racing. It's a fantastic start by John Shaw. He's blown away. Shaw's on a roll. This young man cannot be caught. Is John Shaw on track for a world record today? We got 1 lap to go. It's victory for John Shaw.
Yeah, pretty much once we hit the start-finish line and we were, you know, inside and out front, nobody's going to drive around the outside of that thing right now. It's running really, really well.
That was a fantastic race by John Shaw, who unfortunately was just 1.2 seconds short of the world record.
This past year, we broke another world's record in the E350s, which is a very, very fast class. In the straightaways, they'll be very close to 140 to 150 miles an hour, and they broke it by about 4 seconds. So it's kind of interesting. We deal in seconds when it comes to world records.
Bobby King has broken a world record with his E350 hydroplane, and because of that, he will be taking home the Orange Cup.
We're going to hang in the shop where he normally works.
Bobby King, Bobby, you did an outstanding job. Your crew, you did an outstanding job. Thank you. Our officials, you all have done an outstanding job.
I just want to say thank you to everybody, Gene, your wife, everybody that puts on the Orange Cup Regatta, the Polk County marketing, and just all volunteers around here. You guys are awesome. This is a great venue to come and race at. So yeah, I can't thank everybody enough, and can't wait to come back next year.
We got to get this in. Y'all get back here.
Yeah, everybody's got to do the picture.
Perfect. Love it.
What was interesting about this year's race was the fact that it was a quality race. The weather could not have been better. Everyone had a great time. We've moved the Orange Cup from March to October now because of the better weather. And I think that all the drivers love it. It's kind of interesting every year. Every year I think to myself, this is the last year. And then about 3 months before the race, or about 4 months before the race, I start getting this little itch. And so I think I'll probably keep doing it as long as I can.